Imagine a world where your eyes see everything but your mind perceives only what it is programmed to believe. A reality where your existence is governed by a biological machine so sophisticated it can rewrite its own history in milliseconds. What if I told you that a profound scientific discovery isn't in a distant galaxy, but in the 3-pound mass of gray matter between your ears? Welcome to MindSpark Science, where today we dive into a discovery so counterintuitive it feels like science fiction. The realization that your brain does not record reality, it creates it. For decades, we assumed the human brain was a passive receiver, a high-definition camera capturing the objective world. Neuroscientific breakthroughs reveal a startling truth: your brain is a hallucination machine. It spends its entire life locked in a dark, silent vault, guessing what the outside world looks like based on tiny electrical pulses. This challenges our identity, suggesting limitations like stress and fears are not reflections of the world. They are internal algorithms designed for survival rather than truth. To understand this revolutionary discovery, we must first look at the brain as a complex energy grid. Every thought, every emotion is a signal traveling through 86 billion neurons. But here's the twist: your brain is incredibly expensive to run. It consumes 20% of your body's energy despite being only 2% of its weight. To conserve this energy, the brain developed a shortcut called predictive processing. Instead of processing every photon or vibration, the brain predicts what it expects to see and only updates its model when it encounters an error. This means you aren't actually seeing this screen in real time. You are seeing your brain's best guess of what the screen should look like, supplemented by a few data points of light. This isn't just a biological quirk. It is a fundamental shift in how we understand human perception. If our reality is a controlled hallucination, then our potential for change is far greater than we ever imagined. Neuroplasticity tells us this internal model is not fixed. Like a river carving a canyon, your thoughts and experiences physically reshape the neural pathways of your brain. Every time you learn a new skill or challenge a deep-seated belief, you are performing biological engineering. You are rewriting the code of your internal simulation. Let us go deeper into the architecture of the simulation. Consider how your brain manages the resolution of your reality. In the center of your retina, the fovea is the only part capable of seeing in high definition. The rest of your visual field is actually blurry and lacks color. Yet everything appears sharp and vivid. Why? Because your brain fills in the gaps using memory. It is literally hallucinating the periphery of your world. This realization that your brain is an active artist rather than a passive observer leads us to neural feedback loops. Our expectations don't just influence our thoughts. They physically alter our sensory input. In studies of the placebo effect, if a person truly believes they are receiving a painkiller, their brain will release its own opioids. The belief itself triggers the chemical reality. This isn't magic. It is the brain's predictive mechanism, determining that pain is no longer a necessary signal for survival. This discovery should be impossible by old laws of biology. Yet it is the cornerstone of modern neuropsychology. It proves that the observer effect is a fundamental rule of human biology. Now consider the concept of time and how the brain distorts it during moments of extreme stress or flow. Have you noticed how a car accident feels like it happens in slow motion, while hours in deep concentration disappear in minutes? This happens because the brain's frame rate is adjustable. When the amygdala detects a threat, it processes information at a higher density. You aren't seeing things move slower. Your brain is just recording more information than usual, making the playback feel extended. When you are in a state of flow, your prefrontal cortex partially shuts down. This is called transient hypofrontality. In this state, the distinction between self and action vanishes. The signal becomes the system. This suggests that our experience of time is not a linear constant, but a flexible tool used by the brain to manage our metabolic energy. If time is a construct of the mind, then our limits within that time are equally subjective. We must also address the hidden energy network of the human body. Beyond the electrical firing of neurons, there is a chemical sea of hormones and neurotransmitters. These act as the software for our hardware. The discovery of the gut-brain axis revealed that 90% of our serotonin is produced in our digestive system. This means your thoughts are not just happening in your head. They are a systemic resonance involving your entire biological form. If your body is stressed, your gut microbiome shifts, sending signals to the brain that the environment is hostile. The brain then updates its predictive model to be more defensive, anxious, and prone to seeing threats where none exist. This is a feedback loop that can last for years, trapping a person in a simulated reality of fear. However, once we understand this as a biological signal rather than a personality flaw, we can use bottom-up interventions, like breathing, movement, and nutrition to send a new signal to the brain: the environment is safe. By changing the signal, we change the simulation. Let's pivot to the quantum metaphor of the mind. In quantum physics, a particle exists in a state of superposition, meaning it is everywhere and nowhere until it is observed. Only then does it collapse into a single point of reality. Our thoughts function in a strikingly similar way. Before you make a decision, your brain is a storm of competing neural assemblies, each representing a different potential action. The moment you decide, one assembly wins out, and the others are suppressed. This is neural Darwinism. The revolutionary discovery here is that we can influence this collapse through the power of intention. By repeatedly focusing on a specific goal or future self, we are effectively priming our predictive brain to look for opportunities that align with that future. We are training our filter, the reticular activating system, RAS, to prioritize certain signals over others. This isn't about manifesting in a mystical sense. It is about calibrating your biological radar. You are essentially hacking your own energy grid to power a different version of reality. The ultimate twist: your most painful experiences are where your brain is most capable of radical transformation. In biology, hormesis means a small stress makes an organism stronger and more resilient. When your internal model cannot handle a situation, the brain experiences a massive prediction error. This error is often felt as intense emotional pain or confusion. But this is the reboot phase. The brain is forced to tear down old, inefficient pathways and build new ones. Your weakness is the sound of the old system breaking to make room for the new. Challenge, discomfort, and uncertainty are the primary catalysts for the evolution of our consciousness. We are not fragile machines. We are adaptive systems that thrive on pressure. If every person lives in their own unique predictive simulation, then true objectivity is an illusion. We are all looking at the same world through different biological filters. This discovery should lead to a profound sense of empathy. When you disagree with someone, you are bumping up against a different biological reality. Social neuroscience shows our brains synchronize when we communicate effectively. This is the power of story and communication. It allows us to merge our individual energy grids. We are stronger and smarter together. Our collective predictive power is exponentially greater. As we look toward the future, brain-computer interfaces, BCI, are making this discovery even more literal. We are learning how to bypass the senses entirely and feed information directly into the brain. This raises deep philosophical questions. If we can plug into a different reality, what happens to the self? The self is not the gray matter, nor the electrical signals, nor the chemical sea. The self is the observer, the consciousness that witnesses the simulation. Science is finally catching up to what ancient philosophers suspected. We are the ghost in the machine. The machine, the brain, is a masterpiece, but the ghost has the capacity to transcend its programming. This discovery is not just facts, it is a call to action. If you knew your brain was waiting for your instructions to rewrite reality, what would you tell it? If you knew your stress was raw energy waiting to be channeled, how would you use it? The limitations you feel today are merely beta versions of a reality constantly being updated. You are a dynamic, self-correcting energy system in a universe of infinite potential. The science is clear: you are not a victim of your biology. You are the master of it. Mastery requires awareness. It requires the courage to look at your own hallucination and ask, is this the best I can dream? The path forward is upgrading the simulation itself. You are a walking miracle of biological engineering and quantum complexity. The boundaries you feel are often just the edges of your current internal map, and maps can be redrawn. The discovery that our reality is internal doesn't make the world less real. It makes us more powerful. The science of the self is the most important field of study you will ever engage in. You are a signal in a vast ocean of energy, a mind spark in the dark. Every day is an opportunity to tune your frequency to a higher understanding. You have the power to influence the architecture of your mind, to turn stress into strength, and to transform perception into perspective. This journey is ongoing. Every new piece of data we uncover is another brick in the bridge to our future selves. If this deep dive into the brain's hidden mechanics sparks something in you, join our community. We are dedicated to unraveling the mysteries of the mind, soul, and universe at MindSpark Science. Your engagement is the fuel for this channel. Every like signals deep intellectual curiosity. Every subscribe joins a network of minds committed to growth and understanding. We are building a library of insights that challenge the status quo and empower the individual. So please hit that like button, subscribe to MindSpark Science, and turn on the notification bell. What is one limit you felt recently that might actually be your brain trying to protect you? Or perhaps a coincidence that felt more like a collapse of possibility? Share your stories. Let's start a conversation that pushes the boundaries of what we think is possible. Stay curious, stay analytical, and as always, keep sparking your mind. I will see you in the next exploration.